You know, I thought long and hard about whether or not I actually wanted to make a video about this subject, and initially I was going to, but then I kinda thought against it, but then I was like, you know what, let's just talk about it for the sake of talking about it. There's nothing really to lose on a subject like this. Let's revisit Joe Thornton a little bit, because 2 days ago we talked about his potential list of teams that he would be willing to be traded to at the trade deadline, which occurred yesterday. Now, if you're paying attention to the trades, you'd note that the San Jose Sharks did indeed deal one of their old 40-year-old forwards to one of the teams that Thornton had on his trade list. Patrick Marleau was traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but Joe Thornton remains. And it's actually been a point of contention, because apparently Joe Thornton is quite upset that he didn't get traded. This is a Sportsnet article that compiles a lot of the quotes that I was reading earlier today, so just for the ease of having all the quotes here in one place, let's visit this Sportsnet article and actually talk about the different things that he had to say. He says that he has been dreaming about winning a Stanley Cup ever since he can remember, and it just didn't come to fruition for whatever reason. He wanted to get something back for the Sharks, to help them continue their process of developing young guys, but again, it didn't work out. Then the article on Sportsnet actually says this. Thornton says although he's not sure why he wasn't dealt, he is still happy to be a Shark, and Thornton follows that up with this. It would have been nice to at least have a chance. I wanted a shot, you know? Believe it or not, I've been hunting this thing down for 22 years, so I wanted another shot at it. I wanted to get something in return. It just didn't work out. Back to the grind, and that's how it is. So, the disappointment is very evident, I guess, within these quotes in noting how apparent it was that he did indeed want to go to a cup contender and contend for a cup, and at an age of 40 years old and only with 27 points on the year, Thornton felt like he wanted another chance. But we talked about the teams that he wanted to go to 2 days ago: the Penguins, the Avalanche, the Lightning, the Bruins, and the Stars. And it's apparent from this little segment that most of these teams didn't really have any interest. Now, Dallas actually was reported to having some sort of discussion about Thornton, but here's a comment from Reddit that talks about what Pierre LeBrun said. There was some interest from Dallas, but my understanding is, while the Stars did give it some serious thought internally, a trade offer was never made to the Sharks on Thornton. So, from that, it appears to me that most of these teams that Thornton would have wanted to go to just didn't really see the interest there. Some of them debated it, but eventually it appears that there was no offer given. And I think if there was a trade offer given to the Sharks general manager Doug Wilson, I think there would have just been a trade regardless. Regardless on how good the return was or whatever, I think the Sharks would have accepted anything. As long as it gave Thornton the opportunity to go out there and get a cup, I think it wouldn't have mattered what the return was. Now, the Marleau deal was kind of weird because they got a 3rd-round pick back. That's honestly pretty good. But a lot of people were saying that that was a little bit of an overpayment. I kind of said maybe, not really too sure about that, but I think I'm seeing more of a Jarome Iginla, Colorado kind of thing going on here, where the Kings pretty much gave up nothing to get Jarome Iginla from Colorado to try to win him 1 cup in his career. And I think it would have been a similar situation here, but what we can gather from all this stuff is that there was just no team that apparently wanted him. And that sucks, because apparently some teams did give it thought, but eventually said no, and if Joe Thornton is out here expressing his apparent unfortunate feelings as to the situation as a whole, it just kind of paints the whole idea in a more depressing kind of light. Because I wanted Thornton to win a cup too, of course. Of course I want to sit here and say that Joe Thornton, one of the best passers in the game, and one of the best passers of the modern era, has a Stanley Cup to his name, but apparently all the teams that Thornton would have wanted to go to didn't want him back. So, yeah, that sucks. Really does. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.